These are the 2016 NTSU Exec elections.
You mentioned pronoun training.
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind just defining what you mean by that pronoun training a wee bit more, and how you would go about implementing that in the university as a whole?
So this year with the fresher crew, they had a lot of pronoun training, which it means it's how you address somebody. So whether they use she pronouns, he pronouns, or whether they define as something else, so they use they, because their gender is different than just purely male or purely female. It can be anywhere on the gender spectrum. And what I found is that there's no actual training that lecturers receive as how to address students when they come to them with these issues where they're being transgender and they're changing their name. So I want to set up like a video campaign to film some non-binary and trans students saying why pronouns are important to them, how it can affect their student life, basically. Be a lot more for people in positions of power, and I'm hoping to get it involved in society's training as well, so that committees are aware of these problems.
So many students feel that there isn't enough in place at university to support students with mental health disorders. And what do you have in order to change this?
Well, I've had a conversation with the student support staff already in the city campus, and I think one of the problems is they're not understaffed, but they're under a lot of pressure because there are a lot of students that have mental health problems, and it can take a long time for them to get an appointment. And I want to increase awareness that on Brack and Clifton these facilities are also available, so that the city staff are opened up more to the students that are actually here. And I think it's not very well talked about at the other two campuses, so that they can become central hubs for mental health as well. I think there's an underrepresentation of students that have other disorders such as PTSD, bipolar, schizophrenia, and I really want to work towards ending the stigma so that more people feel they can come forwards before they get to a desperate point and they really need help that they can't access. So I want to preemptively strike, as it were.
You mentioned that you would like to implement a no hate campaign.
Mm-hmm.
What would that actually consist of?
I really want to maybe have a week devoted to each, so a week devoted to homophobia, a week devoted to transphobia, a week devoted to racism, where you really raise awareness and bring students in and they can talk about their experiences with these harmful stereotypes that are impacted on everybody. We're united, we're a student community, we're all part of NTSU, and I really want people to stop segregating themselves and really just celebrate that we're all students and we're all part of this university.
So as a student, I know how hard it is to look for a part-time job whilst at uni. Will your scheme include jobs within the university and the SU as well as in the city, and how do you plan on making this accessible for all students?
Well, in my manifesto I'm saying about a monthly newsletter that goes around to students, and it advertises part-time jobs within the university and within Nottingham, so it provides all the opportunities, because I know jobs within the university, they're not too common. They come at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. So for jobs in the middle, I'd like students to be aware of them, and that's what the newsletter would aim to do.
And how will you incorporate NTSU campaigns into societies? Because I know that's one of the points on your manifesto as well. Yeah, no,
campaigns is like a big idea, and I know everyone throws out the word campaign, and I just want to make it more accessible to everyone, and we don't have to wait till a week later on in the year, or you have to wait till March to do a campaign. You can really tackle all the issues that you have throughout the year, and I think making that available to students will allow everyone to realise that the Students' Union is there for them, and it's somewhere that you can go no matter what problems or issues that you have, and you can find help.
Fabulous. And another point, we already have our student cards that many students use for travelling around the city and get to and from accommodation, and the only time we would really need an off-peak bus pass would be in the summer break when most students will have gone home. Would introducing an off-peak bus pass not be a waste of time and money?
I think the thing with that is that you've got to apply it to all three campuses, and for me going to Brack it costs £6 return on the bus, and for a taxi to Clifton it could be between £8 and £12. So having spoken to the council, they were saying that they'd be willing to talk about it, but I think for the summer months it will be more than accessible during the term as well for nights out, and it's really about student safety. So would you rather go in a taxi where like people are going with Uber now and they don't there's lots of stories about how unsafe it is, or would you rather go on a bus that's the university provide and know that it's safe and it's affordable for you? And I think that it's going to be an affordable way for everybody to be able to use the public transport that Nottingham offers.
How's it going so far? How have all the Q&A sessions been?
It's gotten easier with each one. There's obviously this afternoon has been the third one, so you're kind of getting used to answering the questions and being up on kind of in front of everybody. So it's gotten a bit easier as we've gone on.
I can imagine. So what specific experience do you have in representing students through the SU?
Well, I'm actually this year's Mature Students Officer, so in addition to kind of representing mature students here at Trent, I've actually also sat on the Student Council, obviously being part of those meetings and helping to make decisions kind of representing all students on campus.
And also in your manifesto you talked about more emphasis on student safety, so what initiatives are you planning to put in place to ensure this?
Well, on kind of the most basic level, I want to make sure that we're working with kind of the community protection teams and local police to actually, one, increase students' awareness of the issues that may arise. Obviously, a lot of students kind of being away from home for the first time aren't necessarily aware of kind of, even in terms of kind of preventing burglaries. Certainly safety on nights out is also of massive importance, as well as just students getting home safely on the way home from late nights in the library and stuff.
Not a lot of information has been given in your manifesto about increasing access to support services for students. What do you feel needs changing and what are you planning to do?
Well, I think there's a reason why I wasn't very specific in my manifesto, and that's because I actually need to go out and speak to students and find out exactly what type of services and support are going to be most useful for them. Because obviously the student body changes from year to year, and what some students find most important and need more access to, students the next year might not need the same things. So I want to make sure that I'm actually targeting the campaigns and initiatives and the services that I'm working on increasing access to.
Of course, the priority of students at university is working on getting a degree. How will you build the relationship between students and the community if students are too busy with their courses?
There's so much more about being a student and about the student experience, about kind of broadening your horizons and learning more about yourself. So even myself as a mature student, in coming to university, getting involved with volunteering through the student union and stuff, it's kind of opened up my world, and so it does actually make you a more rounded person. So it isn't just about getting a degree.
So creating a healthy relationship between the SU and private landlords seems to be an impossible task, as the majority of students at Trent will be looking for private accommodation. How will you begin to make this feasible?
Right, so if I was thinking that we need to liaise with the main companies that people talk, like all the people like tweet about or put on Facebook. So like we'll try and like create some sort of like social or something like that, or a meeting where we can all like talk and find out, look, this is the situation with our students and what can you do about it. And I also want to work closely with the other SU as well, so because there's two unis here. If both unis can join together and like try and hold them account, then that'll be good as well.
So make like a big massive, maybe like you said, an online poll.
Yeah, an online poll. Also, like I also want to indirectly hold them account, so like a website like where you can rate your landlord. So like all the students that live in halls, they can look at that website and be like, oh my gosh, I know X, Y and Z is a bad landlord, I'm definitely not going there. So then landlords will be aware of it, and then they'll try and improve just based on the opinions of Nottingham students. Yeah. So yeah.
Would you make that available on the SU website so it's easy for students?
SU website, even Facebook, like even a generic website if we can work with the other uni as well. Like but definitely on the SU website as well. Yeah.
How do you plan on ensuring the spare change boxes are a success, as many students don't have a lot of money, so even if they wanted to donate they couldn't?
Alright, with the spare change, like it's only going to be like 1p's and 2. So like we already do give charity, like I've seen in the SU shops scattered all over uni, like the little dog where you put like a penny in, like it's always heavy all the time. So like with the penny, like every little helps. So 1p, 2p. I'm not asking people to donate like £10 weekly, but like any small change will do. And then because of the rewards that they'll get out of it, it will feel like it's an investment as well. So instead of just them like losing the money. So
yeah, are they going to be hopefully at every campus?
Yeah, it'll be at every campus. Yeah, even in like, if I can try and put it in like the libraries as well, where anywhere you can just donate some like small change. So yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, I thought it was quite good, so don't worry about it. Okay, on to our questions. So, what events have you helped organise which makes you suitable for this role?
Well, I haven't really organised many to do with the SU as a whole, but I mean, as I think Helen will know, I started the journalism social page to get everyone in our course involved with each other, and I used to organise socials through things like that. You know, just to make sure that, you know, people actually got to know each other, everyone was having fun, and everyone kind of got integrated together. I think that'd be quite good to bring to the community role.
You suggested personal testing kits. What will this include and how easy will you make it for students to get one?
Yeah, that's quite like a big part of my manifesto. I think it really attracts quite a big crowd, hopefully. I meant personal testing kits in three factors, if I have the time to say them. It was basically takeaway sexual health testing kits, because I know that people can't always make the walk-in on a Thursday, particularly people in Brack and Clifton. Imagine if you could just pick up, a chlamydia testing kit from the SU, use it, and then you post it off, and then it's all sorted. I mean, I think they're more than available, and I think the SU would be okay with funding that. In terms of other ones, I also want to improve drink spiking awareness. I know there are testers out there that you just dip in your drink and test. I mean, it's not really fixing the problem of drink spiking, that's got to be addressed, in the wider kind of sphere. But realistically, I think it's quite a good fix and protect the lives of a few students. And then finally, drug checking equipment. It's a bit of a taboo that no one really talks about at uni, but people come to uni and they are going to try drugs. Basically, you use it, it'll tell you if there are dangerous chemicals in there, and then you don't use it. Obviously, it would be bad for the SU to promote the use of drugs, but obviously we need to be careful and say, if you're going to use them, be safe. Yeah, this wasn't really necessarily just for SU nights. I meant like SU affiliate, like Forum and all the others. It's something that I do feel quite strongly about, because I know that there was a girl that died in Northampton really recently, just because she was kicked out of the club, and then she was gone from there basically. It will distract from their jobs, but I think as a bouncer or as someone working behind the bar, you do have a bit of a responsibility to take care of the people.
You mentioned about a PCSO drop-in service. What do you really overall mean by that, and how would you implement that, and how would that benefit students?
Basically what it would be is we'd work with police community support officers. So I've already got a contact at County Council who I've met through my course. So it'd literally be, the reason I put it on there is because I don't think it'd be a big change, but it's not too time consuming to complete, which is why it's in my manifesto, and I'd like people going to hold me accountable for it. And it would be a police community support officer comes in to the uni late September, early October, when freshers are moving in, people are moving back for second, third year. They might have worries about living in their area because they've heard Lenton's a bit dodgy, it's bad, there's been a lot of burglaries, which is why I came up with the idea. And I just think it's a good way for people to interact with the union who don't usually, as they're getting something out of it that could really benefit them.
In your manifesto about having revision weeks, just having quiet spaces to go and revise. So what do you think that those places would give that the library wouldn't? Why do you think they would benefit?
I think the main reason people go to the library, I go, or my friends go, it's, you go for the books, but you can go in, go out, it doesn't matter about seats. The main problem with the library is there's not enough seating, and I think that can really put you off revising. You can think, I'll just leave it another day, I'll come back later. Whereas if we've got these spare areas, whether it's opening the level during the day or opening the loft during the day, and you can go and revise there, and it's going to be quiet, there's not going to be music playing, you won't get distracted. You can come to the SU and sit in Costa, but people are having conversations, people are going there to chill out. So there are areas that are dedicated to being quiet, and you can go and work there. And even if we do struggle with opening areas up in the union, I think working with timetabling would be good, and finding out where the spare seminar rooms are during the day, and then you can always direct people to there as well. So I think we can't create more space to revise in, but we can utilise what we're not using.
What kind of things will you put in place for people who are victims of sexual harassment and other such crimes?
That's something that I'm tackling with my open self-defence classes and sexual harassment awareness. I think that with the awareness part of it, there needs to be workshops within societies, sports, from the lad culture survey that was done last year. There was a lot of people don't report it because it's almost not anonymous. So I think if you provide an anonymous way for people to do it, even if it's a hotline that people can call up, I feel like that with the advice service would be good. And then with the self-defence classes, I feel like that would be a good way of preventing it, and I'd like to run those in sort of partnership with VP Sports.
These are the 2016 NTSU Exec elections.